Hey, welcome back to another video. I'm Ivan Calderon, and today we're going to be talking about how loud you should be mastering your music. So over time, there have been many metering methods that we have used to make sure that our music is loud enough and that it competes with others. Some of those methods include peak metering, RMS, VU, and LUFS, just to name a few. For a while now, LUFS has been regarded as the best method out of the bunch for measuring loudness, and I'm sure at some point you've even heard people talk about how -14 LUFS is a target loudness for things like streaming platforms. And as a matter of fact, that's what I've been using for quite some time now. The other day, however, I was browsing on the web doing some research, and I came across this article by Ian Shepherd. Now, if you don't know who Ian is, then you definitely should, because not only is he a great mastering engineer, but he also runs a production advice website, which is a fantastic resource for anybody in our industry. The article that I came across discussed how LUFS might not necessarily be the best way for measuring loudness, so immediately I was hooked. I'm gonna link the full article down below so you can read it for yourself, but to summarize, Ian mentions how although LUFS is a great reference tool, there are 3 problems. Number 1 is that not all streaming platforms use LUFS as reference. In fact, out of all the streaming platforms, only Tidal uses LUFS. Number 2 is that integrated loudness isn't always the best way to measure everything. The reason is that not all songs and not all genres have the same dynamic composition. A rock song, for example, might hover consistently at -14 LUFS, whereas a softer song with more mellow intros and interludes might hover a little lower, say -16, even though they both sound good when balanced by ear. Finally, he discusses how loudness is in fact an artistic decision, and instead of just focusing on numbers, what we should be doing is focusing on what sounds good. Now you might be thinking, yeah, that's all great, but I would still like a ballpark number to base my masters off of. Well, lucky for us, Ian gives us that as well. If you must use LUFS, Ian suggests that you master no louder than -9 LUFS at the loudest parts of the song, and then balance everything else around it musically. Now, LUFS is still great, but if you want something more effective, then Ian actually suggests using a tool like Loudness Penalty. Loudness Penalty is a plugin that was developed by a company called Meter Plugs alongside Ian, and the goal of the plugin is simple: to understand how your music will sound in different streaming platforms and whether or not those platforms will either turn your music up or turn it down. The idea of such a plugin was beyond intriguing for me, so I actually hit up the good people over at Plugin Boutique who were kind enough to send me a copy for review, so that is exactly what we're gonna be doing today. So jumping into Studio One, here we have the plugin, and the interface is super simple. You essentially get a visual layout of all the major streaming platforms, and once you play your music through it, it'll give you a reading represented by either a positive or a negative number. If the number is positive, that means that the specific streaming platform will turn up your music by that number shown. So for example, if you see a +2, that means that that specific streaming platform will turn up your music by 2 decibels, and it works the exact same way for negative numbers. The idea then is to focus on a streaming platform that you like and adjust the master accordingly. What Ian recommends you do, however, is that you raise the volume of your music until you get a reading of about -2 on YouTube. The reason is that not all streaming platforms will turn up your music, but they will all in fact turn it down, with YouTube being a prime example. So then what Ian recommends is that you actually raise the volume of your music until you get -2 on YouTube, and then once you upload it, let these streaming platforms kind of bring it down with their algorithms. So to demonstrate how this plugin works in a real life scenario, I've pulled up a song that I'm currently working on with an artist here in Tampa. The song is titled For a Moment in Time by The Next Day, which is actually the first single off of his upcoming EP, all produced by yours truly. But essentially, I'm gonna go ahead and play it without any limiters, and then we'll analyze how that sounds, and then I'll turn them back on, and we'll try to go for that -2 that Ian suggests. So let's actually go ahead and start off from the chorus, so let me just play it.
For a moment in time, I thought you'd be mine, but you'd rather be with someone else.
So if you take a look, it didn't even read anything for YouTube or Tidal, but at least for Spotify, Pandora, and iTunes, they gave me a reading of about 3 decibels, meaning that once I upload it to these platforms, it'll get turned up by 3 decibels. Now I'm gonna go ahead and turn on these limiters that I have, and I've already set them to what I want to set them, so we're gonna see how that sounds like. Let's go ahead and start from the beginning again, and let's reanalyze this.
For a moment in time, I thought you'd be mine.
So taking a look at this reading now, we can see that we're around that ballpark that Ian suggests. Now I could even turn this down a little bit more, but at least now I know that I'm right where I need to be. Now in case you're wondering, I am limiting in series, meaning that I'm using one limiter after another. I just find that this kind of reduces the workload and it sounds a little bit more natural as opposed to just making one limiter do all of the work. Now the last thing that I want to do here real quick is I want to play it again with the limiters, but I want to kind of let you guys hear the preview of what it would sound like for each individual streaming platform, because what you can do here is select each platform and then hit preview, and you'll be able to hear what the volume would be once you upload it to these streaming platforms based on their algorithms. So let's go ahead and play that again.
For a moment in time, I thought you'd be mine, but you'd rather be with someone else. For a moment in time, I thought you'd be mine, but you'd rather be.
So as you can see, this cuts down the guesswork dramatically, because now you have this little tool that'll tell you exactly how your music will sound in each individual streaming platform. Now, as great as this little plugin is, the best part about it is that it's free-ish. The plugin itself costs $50, and that's not too terrible, but if you don't want to spend any money, then they do have a free companion app that does the exact same thing. Personally though, I prefer the plugin because this way I can integrate it into my mixing template and I can see everything in one screen, but at least this way you have options. But there you have it, this little plugin has changed the game for me, and I think it will for you as well. Now, I will be linking the plugin and the website down below in the description for your convenience, but as always, thank you so much for watching. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you're not already, but I will see you on the next one.